Hey there, this is Moto Jeffy, and if you are watching this video right now, that means you need to do brake pads on the back of your K1200S. So I'm going to go ahead and make a video, hopefully help some of you guys out so you know how to do this. First step, take off your saddlebag. And of course, hopefully you know how to do that. You put the key in, you turn it, you lift up the tab, the saddlebag comes off. Second step, if you are over 50, you put on your readers. Now, we are going to come over here and looking at the bike. Okay, here's the left side of the bike. And we are looking down here. I wish I had my light on, but we'll see if we can adjust a little bit. Get some better exposure here. Here we go. So, looking down here first, you're going to see this little tab sticking down right here. That is a pin that you need to pop out. So I will get a hold of that with a pair of needle nose. These might be just a little big. Yep, those are just a hair big for the angle I'm going at, but get your needle nose on there. Now I want to just tell you that this little pin, you're going to cuss this thing a little bit when you try to put it back in, because that little pin right there, you are going to have to be sitting there and trying to get it back in the hole here. So there's a little tiny hole, and I can't even fit the phone in there to show you, between the caliper and the brake pad. And that holds this retaining pin, okay? All right, so give me a second, switch tools, and I am just gonna pause this video, do this in one take, hopefully show you guys how to do this. Okay, so the next step that you need to do, and some people complain about this. I've done this for years. I've never had a problem with it because these brake rotors take a ton of abuse. So you got to get the pads to back away from the rotor a little bit. So you need to get a screwdriver between the pad and the rotor, and you need to just pry that back a little bit, because what you're doing is you have to compress the pistons, which are inside the caliper. And let's see if I can get this in here. So where I am, in between the rotor and the pad. And you're just going to kind of rock this back and forth a little bit. Now, I have found that sometimes when you're trying to get in there, you can use one of the vent hole, you know, the drilled holes in the rotor. So as you're doing this, as you're rocking it, the screwdriver's starting to go farther and farther back inside there, and you're compressing. And I mean, essentially, you're pushing the brake fluid back up into the brake fluid reservoir. So you need to have a couple steps. So I'm going to get my next screwdriver up here, and slightly longer, fatter screwdriver. You're going to get it in here, and you're just going to kind of try to compress, make sure those pads are backed all the way off. Let's see this one here. So it's compressing the pistons on this side. But you really want those pistons as far back in as you can, because when you go to put the new rotors or the new pads in there, there's not going to be room. So you got to have that backed all the way out. So as you compress and wiggle the screwdriver in there, you're compressing the pads back up inside there, and you can work your way in any way you can get inside there between the rotor. And of course on these things, you know, there's really no room to go in through here, but you can get the front. And you can see here actually the pad the pad was gone. It just started. I heard it the other day. I touched it and I got a little bit of mileage on it, but this is smooth. It just marked it visually, but luckily I heard it and stopped using my pad. I'm going to go ahead, work the screwdrivers back there to get the piston pushed all the way back inside here. So I'm going to work that back a little bit, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've gotten those, and I used the screwdriver on the other side as it slid back. And unfortunately, there's so little room here, I have to use these little stubbies. So I did end up getting one screwdriver on the backside here to take up some of the slop. See, it's a bummer. I can't even hardly get this in here as a camera for you guys. But once those are compressed in, here's your rotor. See, it's all loose now. So it's ready for me to take out the pads. All right, now the next thing you're gonna need is a small punch. So this small punch, and of course, a lot of people, one thing you can do, you can take off these Torx, you can take off the whole caliper mount. I'm just doing it the easy way. I mean, relatively easy way. Easier way is to have someone else do it. But if you wanna do it yourself, come over here. You gotta make sure that cotter key's out. Get a punch in here, okay? And we're going to go ahead. We're going to tap this in. And there goes the pin. So now, the pin wiggles out. You can see right here, there's the hole that, come on, focus, focus. It's not focusing. We got a focus lock or something. There we go. That's where that little cotter key goes. I always put a little bit of anti-seize on this. This has a little bushing here, little spring clip type of a thing here. So once you have that out, the pads, if you can see this, I don't know if you can see this okay from this angle. Trying to do this where you can see it. Let's see if I can get this right here. So we need a better angle for you. Okay. Sorry about the delay. So now the pads literally just slide out the front, and look at that. Look at that. All right, so there's one pad. And then here's the other pad. So slide it back a little bit. Slide the pad out. Hopefully you can see this, but it's just sliding out. I want to get this up where you can see better what I'm doing here. Okay, so you see the caliper there? I'm grabbing the pad. The pad was inside. I'm just literally sliding the pad out like that. There you go. So, yes, gone. Look at that. Holy moly. So, luckily I didn't damage the rotor. I marred it just a little bit, but it's smooth. So, it's smooth to the touch. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It will polish down as soon as you use your brakes. So, the next thing you want to do, and always, always, always do this. Here's the brakes I got. I got the FA 363HH by EBC. Okay, so that's the copper ones. Now, before you take these out of the package, you want to line them up. Say, is that right? Now there is a different one. It has a little bit of a chamfer right here, but it doesn't really matter. So you got this little chamfer right there on some. So yes, that's the same pad. And that's the same pad there. So always double check that before you put them in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and continue this and go ahead and put them back in. That's basically it. So to put them back in, you reverse the procedure. I do like to put a little bit of anti-seize type lubricant, not grease or anything like that. Something that's more of a dry lubricant on this thing. And then after you have that, we're gonna slide these pads back in. There are some people who will put a small bit of anti-seize on the backs of these to keep noise down, but I don't think it's really necessary, not with these pads with this coating on it. So you could stop watching the video now if you want, and as long as you got your piston compressed all the way back in, these new pads are going to slip right back in. Obviously the friction material, this goes towards your rotor, okay, on both sides. So this one would be the inboard side. Yeah, This one would be the inboard side, and this one would be the outboard side. So they're pretty much sitting in the package exactly how they go on the bike. You're gonna drop them back in, push the pin back in from the outside, put the clip back in, and then go ride. All right, well, I hope this video has been helpful for you. Like I said, you can stop now if you want to. I'm gonna go ahead and continue the video where I'm gonna go ahead and put them back in, talk a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of let the camera roll. But you got what you got what you need right there. So that's all you need to do. And then you're gonna have to tap that, you know, push that pin back in there, and that's about it. So I'm gonna pause this, get a little bit of anti-seize to put on a couple of these parts, and we're gonna go back together. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up. I know everyone says thumbs up, but apparently it helps YouTube. I really don't make any money off these videos. I just do this because I love the motorcycle community. So give me a thumbs up, comment, whatever you want. And if you have a better way of doing it, make a video yourself and then show other people how to do it. All right.